Imagine a structure so huge they call it the Stone Dragon, a line literally etched across an entire country's landscape, built over 2,000 years. This is the story of the Great Wall of China, and believe me, it's an incredible story of human ambition and of human fear. So let's get into it.
21,196 kilometers. It's a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around, right? That's the official length of the Great Wall, counting all its different sections. To put that into perspective, if you decided to walk the entire thing, it would take you about, 18 months. Yeah. It's not just a wall. It's a sprawling, mind-boggling military masterpiece.
And that really is the million-dollar question we're digging into today. For all its size and fame, the wall's history is way more complicated than you might think. Was it this brilliant defensive strategy that kept an empire safe? Or was it one of the most expensive and ultimately useless projects in all of human history? Well, the answer isn't so black and white. Okay, so first thing we need to get straight, this isn't one wall. It's really a massive network of walls and forts, built and rebuilt and added to by a whole bunch of different dynasties over 2 millennia. Think of it like a historical scar on the landscape, telling a story, piece by piece, stone by stone.
So, why even build it? I mean, what kind of threat would make you take on a project of this insane scale? The answer, it turns out, is a deep, fundamental clash between two completely different ways of life.
What's so great about this is how clearly it lays out the conflict. Down south, you've got settled China. They're farmers, they build cities, they store up grain, and they make amazing things like silk. But up north, on these huge grasslands called the steppes, you have nomadic tribes. These guys were expert horsemen who were always on the move. They didn't have what China had, so their options were to trade for it or just take it by force.
And these raids weren't just a minor problem. They were a constant, serious threat. Tribes from places like Mongolia would just sweep down looking for resources. So the wall wasn't just about defense, you see. It was also about controlling trade and traffic along the famous Silk Road. But whenever diplomacy broke down, the raids would start up again, threatening the very heart of the empire.
So the problem was crystal clear. And the very first emperor of a unified China, Qin Shi Huang, he came up with a solution that was, well, incredibly audacious. One single unified line of defense.
So back in 221 BCE, the emperor basically ordered all these smaller, separate walls that had been built by different states to be connected into one long wall. But now, this wasn't the stone marvel that you see in pictures today. Not yet. This first version was actually made of rammed earth, just layer after layer of dirt packed down super tight to make a barrier.
But that ambition came at an absolutely unbelievable human cost. This quote from ancient poetry really gets at the sheer brutality of the work. Now, there's no evidence that they were literally mixing bones into the wall, but as a metaphor, well, it tells you everything you need to know. And this number, this just drives the point home. It's estimated that 400,000 people died building it. We're talking soldiers, peasants, prisoners. They died from accidents, from exhaustion, from starvation. It's no wonder the Great Wall earned the grim nickname, the longest graveyard on Earth.
But after all that sacrifice, you'd think the wall was unbeatable, right? Well, that earthen wall, it wasn't enough. Its greatest failure would actually force a later dynasty to completely rethink everything, and that's what led to the iconic stone wall we all know today.
You see, here's the thing about any wall. It's only as strong as the army that's defending it. And in the 13th century, the unstoppable Mongol army, led by Genghis Khan, proved that point. They breached the earthen wall. The ultimate defense had failed, showing that a physical barrier doesn't mean much without the right strategy and manpower behind it.
But the real game changer came a few hundred years later, during the Ming Dynasty. In 1550, Mongol raiders got around the defenses again. But this time, they didn't just hit a border town. They made it all the way to the capital city, Beijing, and basically held it hostage for days. Can you imagine the panic? It was this huge, terrifying wake-up call that the old defenses just weren't cutting it anymore. Something had to change, and fast.
And boy, did they respond. The Ming Dynasty didn't just patch up the old wall, they totally reinvented it. We're talking massive granite foundations. They used special kiln-fired bricks that were way bigger and stronger than normal ones. They built this incredible communication network of 25,000 watchtowers to send smoke and fire signals. The wall itself became a weapon, with slits for archers and holes for dropping rocks on anyone who tried to climb it. This was the Great Wall reborn.
So the Ming Wall was the absolute pinnacle of the design. a true military marvel. But history has a funny way of making even the greatest defenses obsolete. The wall's purpose was about to change in a way no one saw coming.
So, in 1644, how did it all end? The wall wasn't smashed down. Instead, a Ming general just opened a gate. He let the Manchu forces from the north pour right through. One act of betrayal made the entire wall useless. The Manchus took over, started a new dynasty, and then they did something crazy. They made Mongolia part of their empire. All of a sudden, the threat the wall was built to keep out was now inside China. And just like that, the wall became militarily worthless.
And you can really see that whole journey right here. For centuries, it was a military defense. Then, for a long, long time, it just fell apart, totally obsolete. But in the 20th century, it found a new purpose, eventually becoming a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. And today, it's a powerful national symbol and one of the biggest tourist magnets on the planet.
The scale of this whole story is just nuts when you think about it. A project that took 2,000 years to build, with 25,000 watchtowers, now brings in about 10 million visitors every single year. And here's the beautiful irony. A wall designed to keep people out now invites the entire world in. So, we end up right back where we started. When you look at the Great Wall, what do you really see? Is it this breathtaking monument to human achievement and perseverance? Or is it a chilling 21,000-kilometer-long warning about the incredible cost of building things out of fear? You know, the amazing thing is, it's probably both.